And we're back on the record, and it is now Ms. Todd's opportunity to present her case. Mr. Poliquin, you have a witness to call?
Yeah, Randy Willie. Would you like me to go grab him?
I'm sorry. Off the record, please.
That is a terminal property. Sorry.
We will not consider that an interruption. All right, we're back on the record.
Randy Willie.
Okay.
Would you like me to go?
Please.
I usually when somebody exits, I consider it for recess.
Brief.
Yeah.
Nothing to report.
He's coming. Take a seat.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'll stand, please. If you could stand up, please.
Yes, sir.
Could you please tell the name for the record, please?
Randy, middle initial L, Willie, W-I-L-L-E-Y.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are to provide will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Willie,
Yes.
can you give a breakdown of your experience with the town of Greenwood here, and just tell us your Greenwood bona fides, next
Okay.
history?
I live at 403 Pennwell Street, right here in town.
Waiting, 403 Penn,
Pennewill.
right here in town.
Yes.
Thank you.
I've been in Greenwood, born and raised here pretty much. Over 55 years actually living here. Out of town a few years. I've worked in town for myself for over 41 years with Randy's Lawn Care business. I was on the town council with the town from 1993, I believe, till 2005 when I moved out of town for a little while and had to get off. Been back in town probably 6 years now, full time. But my business is located in Greenwood, so I was here every day, all the time. Pretty much know everybody. I've known Miss Todd basically for about 6+ years, something like that, since dealing with her with the town. I've also been on the town board of adjustment, which I'm still on right now. I was the head of the chairman of the election board for the elections. I'm running for council this year, so I can't be on there this year. But I had a lot of dealings with Miss Todd. I was in and out of the office quite a bit over the years.
Let me slow you down a little bit and follow up some questions.
Yes.
What was your position on, how long have you been on the Board of Adjustment?
I didn't hear that at all, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought I was talking loudly. What is your,
There's a lot of noise over here.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was your duties and responsibilities on the Board of Adjustments?
On the board of adjustments, we meet as needed. It's not a regular weekly thing or a monthly. It's as things come in, they're a little different than what the actual town council deals with, variations and stuff, variances. So, like I say, one month we might meet once, might be 2-3 months, and we meet again. It's just off and on, and we hear the things that people don't meet our code. We just rule on that. It's not very difficult.
How long have you been on that board?
On the board of adjustment, I think about maybe on the board, maybe only like 3 years. I'm not actually sure, 3, 4, I think.
How about on the Board of Elections?
On the board of elections, it's probably about the same amount of time.
Okay, and what are your duties and responsibilities on the Board of Elections?
To show up on one day a year
And
for
just-
the election and rule over and watch what's going on as the head of it. Very simple job.
Have you had a chance to deal with many, different town managers while you were on town council and in these other capacities?
Yeah, several.
And can you compare your dealings with, Janet Todd as compare them to other dealings with other town managers?
Me personally, I got along pretty much with all the various town council, or the managers, and a couple of them I was still in and out, with my business stuff and my properties I have, and I was in the office quite a bit off and on, but no regular time. Never really got to know a few of them. Never really had too much trouble with, I mean, I got along pretty much with everybody, but,
What about Ms. Todd? Can you tell about your, not just your personal life, whether you like her or not, but her, actually, her performance as a town manager?
well, from what, like I say, I'm in and out, I don't deal with her all day, but for me, coming in, getting my paperwork for the Board of Adjustment or any questions, and that's when I normally came in, when I had some issues, or I wanted to see if there was something I didn't understand. She'd help me and go over what we're doing, properties, and pull some stuff up on the screen for me to look at so I could see exactly what was going on that we were gonna be dealing with. Anything I ever asked for from her, I got done with no problems. I had no issue with Ms. Todd at all. I thought she was, to me, she was very helpful all the time. I never had one problem with her at all the whole time.
And, how often did you deal with Ms. Todd?
It was sporadically, maybe on meeting weeks or when we had a meeting going on for the board, maybe once or twice that week I'd come in, sometimes a little more, sometimes less.
And how responsive has she been to any of your requests?
My requests were usually handled right when I come in and spoke with her. I don't think I really ever had to wait for anything. I did make some calls to her at times, and normally I found out right then or there, or where she would get back to me, and all my dealings with her were just A1. I never had any issues.
Have you ever had her, any experience where she was, unprofessional in any way?
No, not that I ever saw, no.
Has she ever been non-responsive to any requests?
Not that I can think of. I think I was treated very well, so it's all good with me.
And do you have any opinions as far as, the town's position to try to remove Ms. Todd?
Do I have an opinion? Yes.
And can I ask you what that opinion is based on your experience?
My experience with her is, to me, I guess I didn't see whatever they saw. To me, I didn't see any reason for her to have to go, but I didn't deal with her as much as most of the other people. But for me personally, no, I don't think it was, to me, I don't understand what was going on.
Okay. Have you seen her take any other initiatives that you saw were positive other than your, immediate dealings with her?
Just in regular conversation, we got along great. We talked, we laughed with each other. Nothing I couldn't ask her. I normally didn't get an answer for, so I just had no issues with her whatsoever.
I don't have any further questions.
Any, cross?
None.
Is the witness excused?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And our next witness will be Michael Phillips.
Ask you to remain standing at the chair. You go off the record. Mr. Poliquin, I notice he's got a rather large binder there. I'm not sure what is in that binder, but typically we would not expect a witness to bring any documents with them. So
I didn't tell him to bring any documents, I mean, he's brought documents, I think they're fair game to ask anybody who wants to ask what they are. But
Well, is there an intent that whatever is in that binder is gonna come out during the course of this testimony?
not based on my questioning.
Does that raise any issues for you?
I would prefer that you not have documents with him.
Would you mind taking the binder and putting it somewhere else and not have it with you there at your seat?
If any questions pertain to planning and zoning and the interactions within that, those are my records.
I will have no such questions because that's not a matter that is presently an issue in this proceeding.
Okay. Thank you, appreciate your cooperation. As you remain standing, could you state your full name for the record, please?
Michael Phillips,
Spell your last name for me, please, sir.
Phillips.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. May be seated.
Mr. Phillips, what is your current position with the town?
I am the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission at the moment.
And have you ever had how long have you had that position?
February 2023 is when I was first in.
Okay, sir, excuse me 1 second. I need you to keep your voice up
Oh,
for me,
sorry.
please. Thank you.
I believe you said February 2023.
Yes.
And have you had a working relationship with Ms. Todd since that time?
Yes, I have.
And can you testify as to what type of working relationship you had with Ms. Todd?
We have always had a very good rapport back and forth. Ms. Todd has always provided me and the rest of the commission with any information that we needed for our review. Personally, I've also worked with her on events and planning for the town. We've never had any issues with communication or information. She's always had us better prepared than we expected.
There's been some accusations regarding her organization of documents. And have you had any experience with her as far as document retention or organization goes?
No, any documents that I ever requested were provided.
And were they provided on a timely basis?
Yes.
And have you had work with other town managers?
No, I have lived here for 25 years.
Have you seen Ms. Todd work with other individuals? One of the accusations is regarding Ms. Todd's professional conduct and whether she's professional or not. Can you testify as to what kind of professionalism she's exhibited?
I have never had any question about her professionalism. She's always been courteous. I understand in her position we have, and in our position, we have had a few disagreements, but never unprofessional.
Have you had any reason to believe that there's any bias by the council members against Ms. Todd?
There has been a notable, how should I place it, contempt from council for many years
And
over the town manager.
And do you know why? Do you have any reasons to know why that contempt is there?
It's my belief that because Ms. Todd has found irregularities in prior records and continued to get things fixed. One of the issues that we worked on repeatedly is properties that were long existing but did not have current either zoning or conditional use. Long existing, forgotten, and in an effort to clean those things up and get everybody correctly zoned or conditional use or any of those things, a lot of people got upset over it. And all it was just getting things back in order.
And did you feel Ms. Todd was doing their duties and responsibilities and taking those tasks?
I fully expect the town manager to keep the citizenry and properties and the rules for everybody in place.
And do you know, have any reason to believe why certain town council members would take umbrage with that?
There were a couple properties that are affiliated with some council members, and I believe there was a personal vendetta.
Can you elaborate on that?
There's one property in question with a daycare that was found, had a conditional use for a 10-year period and it was not renewed. It was up to a property owner and a business owner to maintain proper zoning and conditional use, just like their state licenses. And Ms. Todd found that it was lacking and brought it to the property owner to have it remedied. And that property owner is related to one of our council members.
Okay, can you, I'm gonna say the obvious, but what names, who are these individuals?
Okay, it'd be Miss Jamie Webb, who is related to Mr. Donovan.
And how is Jamie Webb related to Mr. Donovan?
As far as I'm aware, she is his stepdaughter,
And how do you,
or I'm sorry, adopted daughter.
and has Ms. Webb expressed these, issues publicly against
Yes.
Ms.
I'm gonna object to that and also the relevance of this. Like, we're not here because of things Miss Webb may or may not have done. She's not really an employee of the town. There's nothing going on with Miss Webb vis-a-vis this hearing. So I'm not sure how expressions that are probably protected by the First Amendment could ever be construed as having anything to do with this, this proceeding. And not only that, but I think there were issues raised about conflicts and potential issues and recusals that were ruled on. So I would also have thought, if these were such issues, that we'd now be here spending everyone's time going through a line of questioning about a possible issue that would have been raised in that motion. But I don't believe it was. So I'm just gonna object. I don't think this witness has anything for us.
Mr. Poliquin?
I think it's fair game. We can present alternative reasons why town council is trying to terminate Ms. Todd, other than for the stated reasons, just like in any other proceeding. And there's nothing wrong with bringing up bias or some alternatives to present to the adjudicators and say, hey, this is, we want to present you with this bias and with these issues and make a record of it. I think we have full right to do that.
So we're going to limit this witness's testimony to his personal knowledge. We're not going to explore conclusory opinion or presumption about motivations of other people. So you can narrow and confine your questioning to that.
Okay. Do you know if Jamie Webb's expressed her consternation, any animus towards Ms. Todd?
Yes, in public meetings, she has been very vocal.
And what type of things has she expressed?
She's been very vocal against Ms. Todd and myself included. She has accused her of harassing her and going after her, I don't even know the term to put it, it would be harassing her.
I mean, as a result of this Ms. Todd performing her duties and responsibilities?
Yes.
And do you have any personal knowledge of Mr. Donovan being part of that?
Not directly in the meeting, and it's recorded.
Okay.
So I'm gonna object to further questioning on this line of questions. He just said that Mr. Donovan's not involved in this. So we just sat through a line of questioning where the end result was Mr. Donovan was not involved.
That's
That is not
true.
relevant.
That is not.
This is not relevant.
That's Mr. DiCarlo's interpretation of what just happened.
That's what the witness just said.
No, it's not.
I
The
said
witness
it
just,
wasn't
Let's
recorded.
stop. Everyone just stop. Only one person is to speak at a time. So, Mr. Poliquin had asked a question, the witness had answered the question. You had not yet asked another question, Mr. Poliquin. So I'm not sure exactly what you're objecting to, because another question is not.
Relevance, materiality,
In terms of the entire
of the
scope.
line of questioning. We heard that Mr. Donovan has not, said or expressed or whatever this theory of this vendetta is.
Let's understand Mr. Poliquin has another question.
And you said a statement was not recorded. What statement wasn't recorded, are you referring to?
A statement of him directly, how do you place it? If it wasn't recorded, that's what I'm saying, but the actions against Mrs. Todd are clear.
Okay, thank you. Has Ms. Todd always been responsive to any of your requests in your capacity?
Yes.
And can you have a general opinion as to the performance of this staff during your time as town manager?
I've never had any problem with Ms. Todd's performance. She has always provided me and the rest of our commission with all the information above and beyond what we ever needed. And anytime we needed additional information, even in the middle of a commission hearing, it was provided as quickly as possible.
I don't have any further questions.
I do have some cross-examination, thank you, Mr. Bureau. Sir, do you understand you're under oath here today?
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
And I am sworn to tell the truth.
Can you repeat that? I don't know if I heard all that.
I am sworn to tell the truth.
Thank you.
Okay. So, have you ever seen any members of council engage in any sort of harassment towards Ms. Todd?
Not personally.
Have you ever observed any members of council berate, yell out, or otherwise mistreat Ms. Todd?
Not personally.
Okay. This theory that you're talking about involving some concern with Ms. Webb, do you have any sort of documentation, maybe in your binder there, confirming the items you've testified to today?
Ms. Webb has been a continual problem.
That wasn't my question, sir. My question was whether you have any documentation here with you today or otherwise regarding what you just testified to. Yes or no?
Yes, there is documentation in my binder that has a timeline of Mrs. Webb's events.
And did you create the timeline?
No,
Who created the timeline?
it is the binder of all of my meeting records that it has the timeline within it,
So is there a physical timeline document in your binder?
not an individual document.
Okay, I have nothing further for this witness.
Redirect?
Yeah, he asked you about questions about Ms. Webb. You see a conflict of interest between Ms. Webb's application to you regarding her property and the fact that her father is a town council member, right?
Correct.
That's basically what you're testifying here
Yes,
today?
there is a direct conflict of interest.
And how you see is that that bias could affect how Mr. Donovan's participating against Ms. Todd.
Correct.
All right, no further questions.
Any recross?
Yeah, so did you ever observe any sort of bias from Mr. Donovan? You just said before that you saw no harassment, no mistreatment, nothing like that. So
Not in person.
Okay, so the whole gravamen of your testimony today is that because there is a land enforcement issue involving a property with Ms. Webb, that must therefore mean that Mr. Donovan has an axe to grind against Ms. Todd. That sums it up.
Not in those words, but yes.
Okay, I have nothing further for this witness.
Council now has an opportunity to ask questions, if they so choose. Do any of the three panel members wish to ask questions of this witness?
I don't know if it's relevant or not, but the issue that you said about my daughter, and hopefully it's relevant, was I not asked to leave council chambers when anything about her daycare was discussed? And when the vote was taken by this council, was I not told that I had to physically get out of this room? Was I? I mean, that's the question I got.
That's a question to you, sir.
I was not present in that meeting.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Phillips, is it true that back in 21,
Careful,
that,
careful.
I'll straight that, I'll think about it.
Does Mr. Donovan's question and the witness's response raise any other additional questions or issues for council?
I have nothing further for this witness.
Mr. Poliquin?
Has Jamie Webb openly campaigned against Ms. Todd keeping this position?
I'm gonna object. Again, the impressions of Ms. Webb are not a matter here in this hearing.
Sustained. Any additional questions?
No further questions.
Okay, so witness excused.
I have nothing further for this witness.
Thank you for your testimony, you're excused. Mr. Poliquin, do you have another witness?
Yes, we're gonna call Jessica Lederer.
This one for me?
I'll ask you to stay standing. If
I'm
you,
sorry, this, Kelly Newar, Jessica Lederer is not available, so.
It's newer.
Newer, I'm sorry. Newer.
Ms. Newer, if you would please state your full name for the record.
Kelly Newer,
Spell your last name for me, please, ma'am.
N-U-W-E-R, and Kelly is spelled with an I, please.
K-E-L-L-I.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
Ms. Newar, are you a citizen of the town of Greenwood?
I am.
And are you involved in town government?
I am. I sit on the Board of Adjustments. I did sit on the planning and zoning, and I also help with community events.
Okay, and what were your duties and responsibilities in that capacity?
The Board of Adjustments, we have meetings. I am the vice chair. So preparation for this. Oh, I'm also a member of the Police Accountability Committee.
That's okay. And in that capacity, had you had a chance to interact with Ms. Todd?
I worked very closely with Ms. Todd, especially when it came to community events.
And what has been your experience with Ms. Todd?
I have had a positive experience with Ms. Todd throughout all of it. Are there differences in opinions? Sure, but it has always been held respectfully. Hey, this is how I see it, this is how I see it. Okay, we can agree to disagree, that's fine.
And can you describe what kind of community events Ms. Todd's involved in?
Ms. Todd was responsible for starting up the farmer's market, and that was when her and I first started having conversations. I'm a big fan of community events. I think it's absolutely something that is needed here in Greenwood. So myself and a couple of my neighbors walked up here to participate, pulled her aside, hey, really love what you're doing. I love this idea. If there's anything that we can do to help. And as time went on, there were, hey, can you help us make a flyer? Sure, be happy to. And I got a bit more involved in the end of 2024 into mid-2025, and worked with her rather closely on the parade, the farmer's market, and Greenwood Day.
Would these events always take place on business day, regular business days, or would these take place on weekends also?
The events were always outside of business hours.
And you understand Ms. Todd's not a resident of Greenwood?
I am,
And would she participate and work on these events?
absolutely,
And has she been always responsive to all any requests?
yes.
And how often do you attend council meetings?
As much as I can. I have a disability, so I'm not always able to come up here. Actually, I worked with Ms. Todd because the town, after COVID, despite one of the council members having to agree to continue with streaming online that was required during COVID, they stopped it. Once those restrictions were lifted, another resident and I streamed it so that people were able to attend. And then Ms. Todd took that over for the town, and occasionally she had questions of how we did it so that it could be done through the town, and then she took that over and we didn't have to.
And have you witnessed Ms. Todd at council meetings?
Yes,
And can you describe her actions at council meetings?
she answered any questions that were given to her. If she didn't have the information, she invited council members to come into her office to discuss it later times. Hey, I can pull this up. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but we can pull it up on there's a screen in the manager's office, a large TV on the wall that she can put things on. So if we had meetings about community events, there was information, she could put it up there so that we could all see and discuss. She offered it to the council members in multiple public council meetings.
Have you witnessed any conflicts between council members and Ms. Todd?
Witnessed firsthand with council members. I don't believe, other than what's happened in public meetings, not
Well, I'm talking about-
privately.
I'm talking about during public meetings. Her.
Council meetings have gotten tense. Tensions rise, tones get stern, feelings get hurt. I do not perceive from where I sat that Ms. Todd behaved in an improper manner, despite what was being thrown at her.
And when you say what was being thrown at her, can you give specifics?
Sure, rapid fire questions without being allowed to answer them. Repeated berating on a question despite being given an answer, an opportunity to answer outside. And that was usually followed by eye rolls and facial expressions or hiding behind papers and whispering to one another in the midst of meetings.
And what council members are you describing?
Mainly Mr. Donovan, mainly. There was a previous council member, Ms. Talent, who was guilty of rolling eyes and rather rude faces during those conversations, but she's no longer on the council.
And did you feel like Ms. Todd was handling herself professionally during this period of time?
I feel that she did the best that she could considering the situation. I can't say that I would have been as kind.
Anything else that you can add regarding council's relationship to Ms. Todd and how she handled it, or any other events that you've experienced?
I can say that not directly with a council member, but how do I word this? Somebody directly related to a council member lives in the same home on multiple occasions. I did personally witness that person calling and screaming at Miss Todd relentlessly. That would have been Mr. Brandon Cessna's girlfriend, Miss Stephanie Fallon Price.
And when did you, can you describe the events that you're talking about and when they happened?
It was usually
Just gonna object to
following,
this line of questioning, I don't think it's relevant to these proceedings.
Sustained.
Okay. Well, just for the record, for my previous, I was making a record of the bias against Ms. Todd, and I think relationships with the council members are, and I understand you've made your decisions, so I'm gonna move on. Any other anything else you can testify regarding this attempt to remove Ms. Todd as a town manager and why you believe it's not the correct move?
I've heard the accusations, okay? They were listed in a public meeting. To my knowledge, there have not been any write-ups or discussion of such things on record prior to. I feel that that is a failure of the council to manage things properly and instead chose to hold a lot of small things in the hope of creating a larger sum that looks worse. This is not the first attempt. The previous council, which would have been 2024, there was a personal improvement plan that was presented. It wasn't presented properly. This particular council voted to remove that from record. It disappeared. And then we come back and instead of writing up, having conversations or handling things, she was immediately suspended. And then we started with a huge investigation. I don't think it was handled properly.
Now, regarding you've read the charges against Ms. Todd?
They were in the council, they were written in the council meeting notes, minutes. I was here and listened to them.
And do they reflect the Ms. Todd that you've worked with?
No.
I don't have any further questions.
Cross-examination?
I do have some cross, thank you, Mr. Hearing Officer. Ms. Newberg, what do you do for a living?
I'm disabled, as I said.
Okay, so I didn't understand that to mean that you were disabled from working, because of course there's many types of disabilities. So you're not currently employed?
Correct.
Have you ever been employed?
I have.
And what was your prior experience?
I was a territory sales manager for AutoZone. I covered, at the time, up to 13 commercial departments on Del Mar.
And did you know anything before that?
Yes, I had multiple jobs. I worked in dealerships. I've worked a lot in the automotive industry. I've worked in offices. I've done a few different things.
You ever worked in HR?
In HR?
Yeah.
No.
So when you testified before that you felt that the human resources matter that this hearing is about wasn't handled properly, that didn't come from like the perspective of somebody who's done work in human resources.
It comes from the perspective of somebody who was a manager and did work closely with HR in documenting any kind of issues.
Okay, so in the context of documentation, do you think that, for example, using expletives and raising your voice at the workplace is something that a person would need an advance warning of not to do?
Excuse me?
If somebody were using expletives and raising their voice in the workplace, would you suggest that that's something that would need to be warned of? Or would the expectation be that they should know not to do that sort of thing, in your opinion as a manager?
In my opinion, that is an issue that needs to be addressed at that moment, not held on to. I am the mother of 4 teenagers. In our household, if you do not handle something at that moment, you cannot bring it up 6 months ago and justify your poor actions as a justification for what has happened.
I'm not sure I understand the answer to my question, so I'm gonna ask it again. In your experience as a manager,
It
do you,
should have been
I'm gonna ask you to
handled.
please let me finish answering my
I'm gonna
question.
object, I think she has answered the question.
No, I'm gonna re-ask it, please.
Okay, I will instruct everyone again, we can only have one person speaking at a time. I realize sometimes questions either may be confusing or there may be some emotional content. What we're gonna do here now, Mr. Del Polo will re-ask his question, and if you understand the question, you may answer the question.
So my question was not about what you do in the context of your inter-family discussions. My question was about specifically your work experience as a manager. You've expressed that you've interacted with HR in that context as a manager in a professional setting. That's the nature of my question. My question is, from that experience, would you expect someone to be aware of the standard of conduct for the workplace, that it would be inappropriate to use expletives and raise one's voice at the workplace? That's a yes or no question, ma'am.
Number one. I don't appreciate the way that you're coming at me. Number two, There is a employee handbook that explains these. Whether somebody is aware or not is very clear. Okay? There is a handbook. Your question is rather convoluted in trying to back me in a corner.
Did you understand my question just now, ma'am?
I did. I also understood your condescending tone, my dear.
Do you think that someone should know in the workplace that they shouldn't use expletives? Let's start with that simple question.
Yes,
Okay. So would you agree that somebody using expletives in the workplace is unprofessional?
I believe that there are exceptions to every situation. If you come at me with expletives, I'm coming back at you with them. Right, wrong, indifferent.
Okay, so that's what you would do in this situation. My question to you was about a standard of conduct in the workplace. So I'm gonna ask you to please return to that question. My question was, if somebody were to use expletives in the workplace, setting aside whether they were used in return or whatever other context, would you concur that use of expletives in the workplace is unprofessional? Okay.
But I do further believe that it needs to be handled immediately, not held onto and brought up months later.
Did I ask you a question about handling that?
It is an explanation of my
Please,
answer.
hold on. Move on to your next question. Mr.
Sure. So my next question has to do with, the performance of the financial functions of the town. Do you have any frame of reference for municipal government and handling the financial functions of municipal government? Let's start there.
Do I have prior experience?
Yes.
Prior to getting involved with the town and looking into it? No.
Okay. And have you ever worked, I know you said you did work at a lot of places before, have you ever worked in a setting, in small government, preferably would be what I'm asking about, where you've overseen the financial functions of a small municipality?
Not a municipality, but a company that was an umbrella of multiple other companies, and I handled the financials for those.
Okay. Did that company have a mandatory audit process?
Mandatory, it was done. Was it mandatory? It was in the mid-2000s, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. How often do you have interactions with Ms. Todd outside of the stated items that you are involved with for the town?
I am no longer involved in the community events. When I was, it was a regular basis, several times a week.
Was that only in the context of the community events, or did you have any interactions with Ms. Todd outside of the community events?
Town questions, for the most part. Do I still keep in touch with Ms. Todd? Sure,
How often do you speak with Ms. Todd?
a couple times a week.
Did you speak with Ms. Todd about your testimony today?
Nope.
Okay. And when you say a couple of times a week, has that couple of times a week contact continued, for example, during the pendency of her paid suspension?
Yes,
When's the last time you spoke to Ms. Todd before the day of this hearing?
a couple days ago.
Okay. Would you say that Ms. Todd's your friend?
Sure.
Okay. So as your friend, you'd want to see a friend of yours be able to maintain their employment, is that right?
That's not gonna happen.
I don't believe that was my question. My question was, you would want to see a friend of yours, such as Ms. Todd, be able to maintain their employment, is that fair? I'm asking what you would like to see.
What I would like to
Yes.
see,
With Ms. Todd in the context of her employment. You just said she was your friend.
okay,
My question was, you would want to see Ms. Todd as your friend be able to continue with her employment here at the town. Is that accurate?
no.
Okay.
I believe that Ms. Todd has been treated unfairly. I do not believe it is a conducive environment. I've had this conversation with Ms. Todd directly. When all of this began, my opinion was, and still is, that there was not a situation in which Ms. Todd could fairly return and continue her duties as town manager of the town of Greenwood. Her name has been tainted and dragged through the mud, and it would no longer be in the best interest.
When you say your name's been drugged through the mud, what do you mean by that?
What do I mean?
Yeah, so I'll ask a more specific question. Are you aware that Ms. Todd's requested that discussions about her job performance, any concerns about her capabilities be all done in public?
100%, as a matter of fact, have been rather vocal of the town disregarding such wishes.
So, let me get this straight. You just expressed that you were worried about Ms. Todd's name being dragged through the mud, but you support the idea of airing concerns about Ms. Todd's performance as an employee in a public setting.
If that is what she wishes, it is her right.
I have nothing further for this witness.
Redirect?
Yeah, Mr. DeCala was, you wouldn't want to, you don't believe that Ms. Todd should continue being town manager just because she's your friend, right?
No,
And most of your interactions with Ms. Todd has been through her capacity as town manager, correct?
up until she was suspended in August, yes.
Now, Mr. DeCala asked you about, there's mandatory procedures regarding audits, correct?
Okay,
Do you understand that the town charter governs the town, what the town mandates?
does indeed.
Okay, and you understand one of the accusations here and one of the findings of the report is that Ms. Todd was mandated to conduct an audit every year, and she didn't do so. Do you understand that's one of the charges?
I do understand that, but I also.
Objection, that's not what the
I
charge
just
says.
asked you. Yeah, well, I'm about to get to that. I'm gonna show you a copy of the.
Sorry, hold on. There's an objection. I'm going to overrule the objection.
I'm gonna show you a copy of the charter. Because one of the things that have been put out here, and the investigator said that, in the findings, that the town manager was mandated with conducting an audit annually. You can just read section 23 of the charter and see if it says anything about the town manager being mandated to
Do you want me
conduct.
to read it out loud, or do you just want me to read it and summarize?
You can read it out loud into the record.
Wonderful. Section 23, at the annual meeting herein before provided, the mayor, with the advice and consent of a majority of the elected members of the town council, shall appoint an accountant to be the auditor of accounts of the town of Greenwood. It shall be the duty of the auditor to audit the accounts of the town and all its officers whose duty involves the collection, custody, and payment of monies to the town. The auditor shall, on or before the date set by the town council, annually make and deliver a detailed report of any and all accounts, records and books by them examined and audited, which report shall be under his or her hand and seal. The auditor, in the performance of his or her duties, shall have access to all records and accounts of the offices of the town council, and he or she is hereby authorized and empowered to employ such clerks as in his or her judgment
Hang on,
may be
hang on,
necessary.
hang,
Slow down, slow down.
I'm
the
sorry.
cough I can't hear.
Sorry. Say
Hereby,
it slowly if you could, because we have a court reporter.
when somebody coughs, I can't hear you.
I apologize. Can you tell me where you were so I can
Did you
return?
say hereby?
Yes, is hereby authorized and empowered to employ such clerks as in his or her judgment may be necessary in the proper performance of his or her duties. And then it notates the law of Delaware.
Okay, so if the investigator in this case said the town manager was responsible for ensuring the timely completion of audits, would that be, is that compliant with what the town charter actually says?
Town manager is not listed in that section at all. No,
And who's mandated to complete, to ensure that audits are made every year?
that would be the mayor
Can
and
we
the town
pause the
council.
proceedings? There's a phone going off.
We're off the record?
Sorry, I had it on silent, it was just vibrating.
Okay. So we're gonna go back on the record. Ms. Apollo, you were in the middle of asking me questions.
So based on what you just read, I know you're not an expert, but you read the town charter, and we know what the investigator was accusing Ms. Todd of. Does she have is she mandated to conduct the audit every year?
Not according to the charter.
So if that was one of the accusations, under your belief, would that be false?
Correct.
No further questions.
Any recross?
None.
The members of the hearing panel have an opportunity to ask questions of this witness. Do any of the panel members wish to ask a question? No questions being offered. May this witness be excused?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Newer, you're excused.
Thanks.
I'm gonna call Kevin Eichman. Stand right in front of that chair, please.
I'll ask you to remain standing for the moment, Mr. Eichman. You could say your full name for the record, please.
Kevin James Jackson,
Like your last name for me, please, sir?
EICKMAN.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear that the testimony you are about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Eichman, what was your prior position with the town of Greenwood?
I was hired as a clerk, and then, basically, they changed my title to administrative assistant. And I worked, processed the paperwork for the police department.
And did you reach out to Ms. Todd at some point to ask if you could testify on her behalf?
No, I spoke with her a couple of times casually, and she, you know, she said, she was, you know, just see how she was doing.
Were you involved, with the working group to begin the K-9 program in the town of Greenwood?
Yes, after then Corporal Tucker came on, the discussion was that should we have a K-9 group, K-9, and it was decided that, the chief decided that it would be. And we had a meeting with myself, Chief Walton, Lieutenant Thomas, myself, and Ms. Todd, to discuss how we would do this going forward, funding-wise, and what needed to be done. We discussed different alternatives. Apparently there was a dog available somewhere in Maryland. We were unsure of the age or health of that animal at the time. And we decided that the general consensus of the meeting was we probably needed to get more information, maybe reach out to another agency, and also look into the, you know, what they do and how we should be doing it, how to start up a program from more established agency.
From where? From, start up a program from,
From a more established agency or an agency that had established one.
thank you.
So we weren't, you know, just going in the dark. And that was the consensus. We were just gonna do some more research, and we were also gonna look at funding options for it. And that was the last discussion that I had regarding the K-9.
Now, Ms. Todd was part of that group.
Yes,
Did she seem cooperative in that effort, that plan that you were putting together?
at the end of that meeting, I thought there was a complete consensus between all four parties in there, that this was the best way to proceed.
So there were certain parameters that were markers that you put out there before you would start a K-9 program, is that correct?
No, I wouldn't say markers specifically, but we should do more research before we went full bore into a program.
Full what, say that again, full board?
Full bore.
Thank you.
And at some point in time, was there an issue, and was that all that planning done prior to the purchase or of a dog?
I was not aware of a purchase of a dog. The only paperwork I saw regarding a K-9 was approximately, 2 weeks later, a veterinarian bill came in, and again, this was a year ago, so I say 2 weeks, could have been 2 weeks, could have been 3, but within a couple of weeks, it came in, and I asked the chief how I should process the invoice, what code I should put on it. And he gave me the code, I don't remember the code. And I put it in the weekly invoices folder. And when I got my invoices folder back, I noticed that the invoice for the canine medical exam was still there. And I went to Ms. Todd and I asked her about it, and I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was something to the tune of, we don't have a canine, so I can't pay this bill.
Now, let me ask you a question. You had that first meeting, right?
Right.
It was basically a planning meeting. Would you agree on that characterization?
Yep, right.
And yet you were guys gonna do research on a new canine program, right?
Correct.
And then all of a sudden, you get this canine bill, right?
Right.
So between that first meeting and the canine bill, was there another meeting with the chief saying, hey, we done the research, let's move forward with the program?
Not involving me.
Do you know?
There could have been another meeting between the chief and his staff that I was unaware of.
What about with Ms. Todd, based on her reaction to the veterinary bill? Did you think there was, all the research and planning had been done?
I don't know. All I know is her reaction was that she was unaware that we had a dog. I didn't know we had a dog until I saw we had Bill.
Okay. And do you agree that do you know whether there was the town council had approved purchase of a canine prior to the purchase of the canine?
I didn't see any, purchase of a canine, that's the first thing. I don't believe there was a canine that was purchased. The only bill I saw was for medical evaluation. I don't know whether the council approved or disapproved of it. I did not really follow council.
Okay.
So
Now,
I don't know how the dog came to be here. I saw no paperwork on it, nothing. The only piece of paper I saw was the veterinary examination bill.
and Ms. Todd's, was she surprised when she got the bill?
Yes, she said she wasn't aware that we had a canine, so she could not pay the bill.
Did that cause some kind of conflict between the relationship between the chief and Ms. Todd regarding this canine program?
I was never privy to any exchanges between Ms. Todd and Chief Walton with regards to the canine. Specifically the obtaining of it.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the canine program and how it proceeded and Ms. Todd's involvement?
I was not really in the loop at all. The only task I was given was that of trying to find the funding for the different pieces of equipment we would need for the canine, either through grants or, basically through grants, see what we had in grant money available.
Did you discuss that with Ms. Todd, that process?
Not really. I mean, I just looked at and saw what money we had where, talked to the chief about it, and, okay, we'll pull this out of that.
During that first meeting, can you tell us what research and what was supposed to be done before the canine program started?
It was non-specific.
Can you tell us what was said exactly?
Exactly, no, I can't tell you exactly. I can tell you that the consensus was that we needed more information before we went and obtained a dog and started the canine program. find out what's involved. You know, there were questions of indemnification, there were questions of housing, things of that nature. And it was, all right, let's make sure we do this right.
Oh, was there questions of, they also said question of cost of having a canine program?
Yes,
Questions of, insurance, would that be part of it?
yes.
And prior to that veterinary bill, did you believe those questions were all answered before that? Were you privy to any of that?
No, I don't believe it. I believe that the money was in place. I asked for having a program and policy established. I don't know if that was accomplished or not. That was not discussed with me. The only thing I did was review grants to see where we could pull money from and how much we could pull.
And when did your employment with the town end?
I believe April of that year.
So you started when and ended when?
April of 24 and actually finished March, April of this year.
Okay, so about 1 year.
Yeah, about a year.
I have no more questions, thank you.
Any cross?
None.
Okay. Hearing panel members have an opportunity to ask questions of this witness if they so desire. No panel member who wishes to ask a question, may the witness be excused.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, you're excused.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Safe travels.
Mr. Colquhoun, do you have another witness?
Yeah, Anthony Macy?
Before you call in Mr., is it Macy or Massey?
Massey, I'm sorry.
Does anybody need a quick break?
Yes.
Okay, so, 10 minutes, no more. Thank you. I feel like I'm a school mom. Call off the record?
Okay, I don't care.